Hi, this is Tolec for the Andromeda Council. Today is Friday, August 10th, 2018. I'd like to welcome you all back to my continuing series of very gifted spiritual practitioners. And I'm honored and blessed to welcome back for the first time in a while, Adona of Star Ancestry. Back in June of this year, she attended her first Native American Sundance, which was held in Adona, Iowa. Donna, I'm sure this was an amazing experience for you. Would you please share with the people listening, with everyone, what your first Native American Sundance was like, what you experienced, when you got there, how the people welcomed you, and sort of what transpired while you were there?
It is great to be back, Tolec.
Great to have you. Great to have you. It's been a long summer.
Oh, absolutely. It's been a really wonderful, interesting summer. I remember when Star Laffy Fox and I arrived in Alton, Iowa, and we arrived at the camp, and you see all of these people from different tribes come together with their parents and the grandparents and the children running around, having a good time. Monday was the day that they call it the Tree Day, where we all pitched in. Every one of the community would come together and hold the tree. They had cut down a very special tree for a very special occasion, and we all picked up the tree and walked into the circle and planted the tree in honor of the tree and Mother Earth. And you talk about a powerful energy field. When people come together like this, it's almost like if you're standing in the middle of the vortex. That's what it felt like. And everyone participate in this. Even the little ones would be under the tree. You can see their heads popping up out of the branches of the tree. Yes. And it was so adorable.
So when you said that they did you say they cut down a tree and then they planted it?
They planted in the middle of the circle. It's because you're talking about the connection between the tree and the energies of Mother Earth.
Right.
So
where was this tree originally?
You know, I don't know exactly where the tree came from. It came from an area where they had to go down a ways with their vehicles and a trailer bed, because the tree was huge. It was tall. It's kind of like when you're in Colorado, you see those tall trees.
What was that, a pine tree?
Pine tree.
Pine tree, okay.
Pine tree is huge.
Okay.
And it takes all of us to be able to carry that tree from the truck into the circle. We had to walk away to get into the camp where the circle is located.
And I take it that this tree was an integral part of the ceremony?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. And so they had dug a hole in the ground, deep enough to where they could plant the tree and secure it.
Got it.
In the center of the circle, of the sacred circle. And did the prayers in connection with Mother Earth, Father Sky. It was a really powerful moment for the community of people that gathered to do this. This is the beginning, the start of the sacred dance that would come in the next 3 or 4 days afterwards. So this happened on a Monday, and of course everybody get together in the house, and we all have our meals together, and we talk about all the exciting experiences that was going to be coming up. And everybody talked about when you walk away from the Sundance to become forever changed. because of the experiences that you experienced there. Just like you would do in Sedona area, when you come to the vortex of the Sedona area, you feel that energy till you walk away, you feel the shift in your body.
Sure.
Same thing, it becomes change. From Tuesday to Thursday, every day they would go to the sacred ceremony, and we are supporting the Sundancers. And Shikara Tosha was there, who's a friend of mine. Jim Russell was there, and Star and I were supporting them, and the rest of the Sundancers that were within the circle. And they have put their energies and their prayers and their songs and their fasting throughout this whole process is to pray for the earth, pray for the people of the earth, be in connection with the spirit world. And they experience things within the sacred circle. And we who stand outside of the circle support them.
Okay.
And we, even though we're not in the circle, it doesn't mean that we're not experiencing anything. We are, because we're in connection with them as this is going on. I think it was on a Wednesday, I believe, that I experienced as I'm looking up in this tree, this magnificent tree, and I'm tuning in to spirit. And I find myself seeing a vision of, I don't know correctly how to pronounce his name. I'm going to try. Is Tecumseh, who was a Cherokee alphabet creator. He created the alphabet for the Cherokee. He showed up.
Wow.
And Chief Red Cloud showed up.
Lakota Chief Red Cloud.
And there was another chief, and I can't think of his name right now. They all, they just appeared, and then they stood next to me, and we were watching the ceremony.
Wow.
Watching this sacred dance that's going on. And they were, and I got goosebumps all over my body, they were pleased with the fact that everyone, it doesn't matter if you are born Native American or you're not, we're all in this together. We have Native American connections in our hearts, in our heart space. It's what we call, how do they call it?
Is that the Midakuye or Yasin?
Yes, right.
We are all one.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. And we're all Native American in heart. Because we have been, in our past lives, Native Americans.
Well,
in the history of our lives.
I remember in one of my Lakota lives that Red Cloud was a very good friend of mine. As a matter of fact, in that life, I was whirling bear, and during Wounded Knee, he asked me to stay behind to try to guard the women and children. Of course, I did my best, but we were all slaughtered.
Wow! Yeah.
But apparently back then I was a very good friend of Red Cloud's.
Well, that's why. That's probably one of the reasons why he showed up. I was kind of surprised to see his face. It's like, I'm here, and I said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "We want to thank you for coming to the sacred circle." And I said, I'm honored to be here. And I mentally was talking to them, and they stood right by my side and watched this and enjoying the ceremony. Yeah. And I too have had Lakota experiences in the past life. I do remember one of my lifetimes where a medicine woman in connection with the spirit world and working with crystals. And it seems to be the pattern since the beginning of my incarnations here on Earth. It seems to be I was involved with the sacred ceremonies over, different lifetimes with different tribes. It was really interesting that here I am coming full circle back into this lifetime, experiencing the sacred circle again
for the first time in your your adult life.
Exactly. Yeah. And so that happened, and in the middle of the course of the week, also Mother Earth decides to, how should I say, pour rain. It rained every day.
Oh boy.
And for the first time in my adult life, I got to experience the rain in full capacity, where being hearing impaired and wear hearing aids, you can't get wet. Ever since I was a little girl, my mother would say to me, "You cannot go out in the rain, you cannot get wet."
Because of the electronic.
Exactly.
Experience. Yeah, okay.
So what happened? This was a new experience for me for the first time in my entire life. I took my hearing aids off, I put them in a box of protection, and went to the sacred circle, experiencing rain for the first time. My hair was wet, my clothes was wet, I wasn't cold, it was a warm, wet feeling.
Yeah.
Bare feet in the mud, walking in the mud, bare feet. I've never done that in my lifetime.
I bet the totality of your human body essence, your spiritual essence, really enjoyed that.
Absolutely, yes. I was just blown away. Like, put my hands out and just enjoying the rain, like singing in the rain.
Yeah, sure. It's definitely. I remember doing it as a little kid, and it's a real sense of freedom.
That's exactly what I felt. It was a real sense of freedom, not worried about my hearing aids. I put it away. We were under like a covered tent where there's a powwow with, I think there were 6 guys around the powwow. And even though I cannot hear the songs being played, but I could feel the drum vibrations coming from the drums. So I was able to connect with the drums.
What kind of drums did you see in the drumming circle? Were they some of the big floor ones?
It was a huge. I don't know what size, but it was big, and it sits on a pedestal.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys. And one girl, because she wanted to be sitting next to her daddy. Okay. And so they all had the drum, and they all were beating on the drum, and I could feel that vibration coming from it. I'm going, even though I can't hear what was going on, but I could feel that drum beating in my chest, in my heart, and feeling it in my feet. And watching the dancer dancing in the rain and within the circle, and you could see the little kids. They don't prevent the little kids from playing in the circle. They all were running in the circle. The freedom they have to express what they want to feel within the circle. And it was beautiful to see that, because usually normally when you have any kind of a sacredness of events, from what I have seen when I was younger, oh no, the kids have to stay away from it. You cannot put the kids in there. No. Not in the Native American sacred ceremonies. They allow the kids to be who they were born to be, and the freedom to do it. It was amazing. And then Thursday morning arrived. I had a text from my daughter, my oldest daughter, who gave me the news that my father passed away. He was 91 years old. I was the only one that was not able to be there with him. So an hour later, I found Star. I said, my father passed away. It was a very sad day for me. But she said, I'm going to let the other people know. So by word of mouth, every one of the people in the community learned about my father's passing. And one of the beautiful things about these people is they honor you, they respect you, they call you grandmother. They would do anything in the world for you.
And grandmother is a special designation when women reach a certain age of knowledge and wisdom.
That's
you
correct.
get this grandmother designation.
That's correct.
Okay? Right.
And even one little girl came up to me, and I was sitting on a bench inside a house. And of course, I was crying, really sad because I missed my dad. She held my hand. She was only about 10 years old, and she said, "Grandmother, it's going to be okay." And I'm, even now I can feel that love coming from her.
Yeah.
And there was a very loving woman, a Cherokee woman by the name of Grandmother Black Star. And she had a very special, personal, sacred pipe she carries. And she said, I want you to hold this pipe, and we're going to go and talk to the chief that is beyond the road. It's only designated where the chief was at, and tell him the news that your dad passed. And so I did, and he said, I will take this sacred pipe to the center and announce to the community that they will hold a special sweat lodge ceremony that night.
Okay.
After the rounds of the sacred dance, Sundance that goes on.
Wow.
In the meantime, the chief connected to the Sundancers that we couldn't go beyond that line, and notified the people in the Sundancers, and they also would go into the circle to sing prayers, songs, a celebration of life for my father.
Right. Any special songs? I'm not sure I'll say this right, but any special songs to honor him and to make easy, smooth passage from this world into the next?
That's correct.
Yeah? Okay.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's exactly what they're doing. And I was blown away. I was surrounded by love, surrounded by this community of different tribes coming together, and they all came up to me to hug me, and they hold my hands, and whatever they felt that they needed to do to comfort me. And that was a very, very powerful day, because Grandmother Black Star had asked me this question. She said, did your dad love to dance? And of course I laughed, and I said, well, my dad was a musician and my mother was a singer. And she started laughing, and she said, well, they are dancing in the circle. I said, I know. I've been watching them from the first round. That they are dancing within the circle. And she said, they're not going to leave the circle until you leave here. And sure enough, after the round had ended for the night, and we had the sweat lodge ceremony to tell them it's time to go on, I did not see them again. And it was just a beautiful ending.
We spoke a little bit by phone after that happened, and I remember you telling me that you could see your mom and dad, and they were smiling. Weren't they like holding hands?
Yes.
And smiling and waving at you?
Yes,
they acknowledged
did.
you. Yeah.
My dad came over to me and put his hand on my left shoulder, and he said, my daughter, you are exactly where you need to be.
Oh.
Because I felt bad that I wasn't able to say goodbye to him a few days earlier when he's still living.
Yeah.
But he wanted me to know it's okay because you are here to help me get back with Mom, and we are dancing toward the heavens.
Oh.
And so I watched them leaving the center of the circle, and they were dancing their way back to heavens. That's how they wanted me to see that they're happily back together after being separated for so long.
Yeah, because your mom passed.
2008.
Yeah.
March of 2008.
10 years. 10
That's a long time. And they had been married for like 51 years before she passed.
And I know that your dad really missed your mom, so.
Yes, he did. And what was really interesting is that I was the one last year helped him to prepare him for his transition, because he keeps talking to me about Mom and how he saw her in his dreams, and his wish was just to lie down and go to sleep, and that's exactly what happened. And he did, just went to sleep, didn't wake up.
It's a great ending to. He had a very good Earth life. He really did. You know, the aviation business,
yes,
fueling, being
yes.
a mechanic,
yes.
being around the airport, meeting some celebrities. You
right.
told me some stories. He had a really good life.
He really did. He had a very full life,
and
he's just happy that he could be with Mom now. And I'm happy for him, and be able to be surrounded by people who are awake and aware and sensitive to the spirit world, that they see the same things I see.
Okay. Wow.
And that's amazing.
Were there a few people, a few Native people that were seeing?
Right.
Well,
and the fact that they all know. I come out of, being in an area where people are not awake, and they come into this huge community of awakeners, and they would tell me, yes, we know.
We can see
him too. We can see him too. And I'm like, wow.
I bet that felt good. I bet that felt good for you.
Did.
It's like, I'm no longer alone.
It felt good. And so that was my last night there. I couldn't complete the Friday and Saturday. For that whole period of the Native American ceremony, and there was a couple who volunteered to take me home with them, and she would call me grandmother, and I'm like, wow, I don't know these people, but yet it doesn't matter.
Yeah, the kindness.
It's family.
That's right.
It's family. It's spiritual family. We're family, no matter where you come from. And so they took me to the airport the next morning, and I flew back to Texas to be with my family. It was an amazing miracle happening in the Native American camp. I also had a miracle happening when I came back to Texas. It's all part of the spiritual plan in reuniting the family, Earth family, and healing each other. I'm healing my family by coming back and, say I'm sorry, and, I'm here for you. And they are beginning the healings too. So it's interesting how when last of your parents pass on, that it takes place of healing for everybody.
Yeah, well, I know that you had spent quite a few years, not in Arizona, but back in Texas, specifically taking care of first your mom, and then your dad for 9 out of 10 years.
Right.
And during that time, I also understand that you were very busy taking care of your dad, but there wasn't that much interaction between your children and your grandchildren, because they all had busy lives.
Absolutely,
so,
yes.
In fact, Dad's passing has helped you reintegrate the family,
Right. It comes back full circle.
Yeah.
it comes back full circle. It's a circle. Can you imagine? You got a Native American circle, sacred dance circle.
Right.
You have the circle of unity, between yourself and the relationships of the people you have within your circle. And yes, it blew me away because I never expected this, even though I am very gifted and I'm able to see wonderful things about other people. But there's just that one part of myself that they won't let me see because I have to walk through it.
That's right.
So I don't always see what's coming from myself. But I'm also walking the walk, in my own personal life and growing and experiencing things as we go along. And as long as we become more going with the flow, because what you think that the path that you're going to be on that path, that all of a sudden you change. You're on a different path. And it's okay to, because that's where
the growth.
That's right. Yeah. The growth happens.
That's where the growth is.
Yeah. And I'm sure that there's a lot of people out there, brothers and sisters out there, who are going through similar experiences. And this is why I wanted to share with you just because I'm a telepathic communicator and have this gift, this ability, but I also have a personal life that experiences my life. How else am I going to be able to help other people if I don't have those experiences in my life to be able to tell you this is what's going on, and you're not alone in that experience, because I too experience the things that you're going through right now in life.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing that piece of your summer with us. And we're going to tackle some next topics. So, Adona, it has been 21 months since November of 2016. About 1,000 clients from approximately 52 countries around the globe, which is substantial. You've been producing basic ancestry reports, premium star ancestry reports, Earth mission reports. In the few reports that you've been able to do this summer while you've been gone, because I know your life has been changed. In those few reports that you've been able to do, are you seeing some new themes come up, some topics that haven't been addressed before? What are the things that you're coming up that are seeing that people are asking about? Those kinds of things.
Sure. There's one major thing that people don't quite understand is that we are all multidimensional beings. I've had clients come back with this question of, how can I be on this planet, Earth, having lives, multiple lives on other worlds and in other dimensions? Why can I not remember them? How do I tune in to remember those type of life experiences? What does it have to do with me here right now on this planet?
Good point.
The way I explained it back to these clients is that, okay, we are multidimensional beings, number one. And parts of ourselves are being experienced, we're being sent out to different dimensions, different planets, for unique experiences.
Right, and simultaneously.
Yes,
right.
Simultaneously.
Right.
All at the same time. Now, in between lives, where we are at a grand central station, I'll put it that way, in terms of the guardians, the teachers, or the master teachers, will come together in a small group and discuss okay, what do you want to experience in this particular planet? What would you like to remember from the experiences of other worlds that you have learned and expand and grow from these experiences? What would you like to take with you to this particular world to remember? And this is not only for planet Earth. This is other planets too, when it comes to discussion of what we're going to remember and what we do not necessarily have to remember for the mission for that planet and the life experiences on a personal level for that planet. So let's say, for example, in my case, because I've experienced it, is that in my pre-incarnation state, I do remember discussing what I wanted to continue bringing to the Earth people since I've started incarnations here. That is, my main mission is to be the messenger, is to be the telepathic communicator between the people of Earth and the people of the stars. And so I've had lifetimes after lifetimes along those lines up to this point. That's how strong my communication is with the star people mentally, very strong in connection with them. Now, I've had pieces of memories of my former life on the Tolec, okay? I have yet to assimilate or recall more deeply of that experience because it's not time for me to experience it. When it's time for me to experience it, it will be triggered by words, by phrases, by movies, by books, or by just talking to people. And you have those moments of triggeration, of familiarity, and say, that's part of who I am. I know who I am.
Kind of like glimpses of a movie,
yes,
kind of thing. Yeah.
And so you take that along with other lifetimes. Now, I know I have, beginning right now, experiencing memories just a tag, a little bit, about the people from Arcturus, about the people that I've been exposed to for the Adona Council main biosphere, because we will discuss about their experience and my life experiences,
right.
Interaction with each other, about our home worlds and about our visitations to those home worlds that may be familiar to me.
It's a very busy place.
Right,
yes.
exactly, yeah. A very busy place.
Yes.
So, what I suggest to you, the people that are not quite understanding of this, don't try to force it, because your mind is a very funny thing. Mind can only accept what it can understand. So what is familiar to us as we walk this planet as a human being, we have to allow ourselves to open up more to the reality of other worlds and know it's not your imagination. Because when you go through reading books or going to movies, like Avatar, for example, I've been on that world before. I know what it feels like. There's a connection between that world and the Native Americans and the Aboriginal people of this planet. How they communicate with each other, how they are in oneness with all life on the planet. I know I have been there. I just do not recall as to what I've done or where, because sometimes within myself I forget to ask. Okay, I forget to ask my guy, I said, hey, how come I remember this planet that was created, the Avatar? That person who created that movie has some kind of glimpse of memory from his or her own life from that world. It brought it to our attention. So just take the time to ask your guys and have them help you to remember. Say, for example, I would like to be able to utilize all of my gifts that I brought with me to this planet. Can you please give me specifics of memories from wherever, what dimension, whether it's Arcturus, in the ninth dimension, whether it's Dakota, in the sixth dimension? Ask, and they will give you the information you need that your soul has already prepared for you, pre-existed to this life, and that you will utilize that, not only your talents, but also expansion of personality. Whatever personality you develop here from birth on this planet as the Earth human, it is being added to what previous personalities you've had on other worlds. It's being brought and integrated within this human body.
Well, Donna, thanks for the thoroughness of that answer. I really appreciate it. It seems that a good follow-up question on the heels of that one might be this era, this time frame that we're in. Things seem to be very frenetic. People are somewhat frantic. They want to understand what's going on this planet, having to do with the political changes that we're seeing with Trump as president, upheaval, what seems to be upheaval all across the world. All of the old paradigms are shifting. Let's talk about this from the perspective of energy or energies that this planet, as part of this solar system, is experiencing right now. What do our people have to tell us about the movement of this planet and this solar system into this area of high energies and how it's affecting us?
It's interesting that you're asking me this question, because as you were asking me this question, I already have an image from Soltar, who's a commander,
right,
of the Adona Council main biosphere, and he was showing me a geometric pattern of star. It's like it's a multiple point star that is integrated within the Earth, and the flow of the energy is kind of like going up and down through these points of this multi-faceted star. And what it is this, the closest word I can come up with is breaking up of the old pattern. So people are seeing the changes more intense, or feeling it more intense.
Right.
What they currently are trying to push themselves toward, a plan that is focused within their mind, all of a sudden is shifted. Well, that's because the activation of the sacred geometry multifaceted star is breaking up of the old patterns. It's breaking up of what is no longer to be.
Right. So all of the old norms, all of the old models in society,
yes,
at least in the developed world, are breaking down. They're changing. People feel like they're on unfamiliar ground.
Yes.
And they are.
Yeah, that's what's happening. And it's not only happening to the people of the world, it's also happening to you and me too. because we are going through changes within our lives as well. And the best thing that we can do is to tune in with nature, breathe in, breathe out.
That's right.
Calming your body, calming your mind, your heart, to where you have this intense of disruptions of energies around you. But if you maintain your calm and go with the flow and accept the fact that changes are here for the better, not for the worst, it's for the better, because the old paradigm is, as we know, we can see evidences of it in all of these departments that Tolec has mentioned, is not only here in where we are at in the U.S., but it's also worldwide in other countries too. So what we have seen over the centuries and what we have learned about our historical past of rulings and this is the way we're going to run things, all of that is being broken down. Everything is breaking up. That's what I see when I see this multi-dimensional star in the middle of the earth. Mother Earth integrate that within herself so that she too can shake off all of the old paradigm that's not good for her. And she's just said, I've had enough. You know, it's time for me to embrace the new world, embrace the new paradigm that's coming into being. The star people are bringing in all the knowledges that you ever will need. But first, we have to recognize within ourselves that the old world of systems is no longer being. It's not going to work.
And it's got to break down completely,
right,
before we can begin lives as higher dimensional people, other dimensional people,
yes,
higher consciousness. All of the old paradigms have to break down first.
Right, and it's also happening internally within us. We seem to want to hang on to, oh, well, I'm comfortable with this. Oh, you know, everybody accepts this, so I want to hang on to that. Well, you can't bring it with you into the new paradigm. So what's going to happen to your body? You know, you may feel like you're fighting it. But if you stop fighting it and just allow it to change within you, it would be so much easier. You will have an easier time of riding this wave out.
Right. So those things that you and I talked about years ago about, and I think they're still consistent and valuable, especially at this time of significant change. Somehow getting out into nature, going down by a stream or a pond, finding yourself outside, out in the woods, somehow take a walk. If you're in the city, get to a park, breathe in the air, listen to the birds, you know, quiet your mind and let your heart sort of, I don't know, emanate throughout all of you so that your heart is really what's leading you. And not the mind going 90 miles an hour trying to figure out everything, because we can't figure out everything. We're not built to figure everything out.
That's right. That's right. I've had recently, last week, I was at my friend's home, and I was outside, and I sat on a bench, and my friend's house is out in the country. There's nobody around. And here you see this giant, big, huge black clouds coming over. It's it's storming.
Okay.
Where that direction, but it's coming our way. But I'm sitting on the bench. I'm closing my eyes. I breathe in the fresh air, and I can sense the shift in me because it's calming my body down. I'm attuned to the rain. I'm attuned to the storm. I'm attuned to the lightning. I have no fear of it at all.
Yeah.
I mean, it felt really beautiful and great. I did not realize that I've been so intense with the energies, all of the bombardment of the energies and the changes that's going on, that even I, too, have to calm my heart down.
Right. And
to experience that.
And it was as simple as you deciding to sit outside on a bench and just be surrounded by nature.
And it helped a lot.
Yeah.
It does. It helps calm the body, helps calm the mind, helps calm the heart. And it's like,
Yeah, I can breathe again. Yeah. Very, very true.
But this is a time of continuation of this intensity of energies for a year or more, because there is so much going on in the world right now. There's just, it doesn't take overnight to have all the changes happening.
No.
It's going to take some time
this transition,
for it to do it.
This transition time is going to go for a while.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
That's what they're telling me. It's going to go for a while. Even Sultar said that, I'm looking at the screen in front of me, and he said, I could see the energy field, not only of the earth, but the energy field of the people. And he said, because of the shifting of the intensity of the energy that's going on, people's energy signatures is changing. Because he could see it going from being fiery red, and it's turning into like light. It's like a sparkle white light. But he said it's not easy for the people to be able to shift because they are so accustomed
to that older, angry, confused energy, right? Fearful energy. Yeah, and matter of fact, Marie Batchelor and I were talking about this last night, that people are continually getting bombarded.
Right.
For those people that, she said she was a recent trip to India.
Wow.
And as we all know, here in the developed world, there are considerable parts of India which are still steeped in poverty. And she said she saw the strangest thing, where she went into this village and people are living in squalor in huts, and they have to carry buckets to go get clean water. And yet, all of these little mud shacks had either dishes or antennas, television antennas, piped in the news to keep them controlled or in fear. Really sad testament that they didn't have a clean floor, and they didn't have a roof over their heads. They didn't have a home big enough for all the people. But they had television.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because I experienced it across the border to Matamoros, Mexico, from Texas, and drove across the border. Same scenario, little shack, made-up shack, made out of cardboard, aluminum,
this corrugated steel.
Yeah,
kind of
right.
Yeah.
And they didn't have clean water. And they don't have comfortable baths to sleep in. I've seen some of them have refrigerators, and they're hooked up. They makeshift electricity. I don't know how they did it, but there is refrigerator in one of the squalor's little shack.
Yeah.
The children were running out, drinking water from the street. And so I gave him my fresh bottle of water and said, here, you can have mine, because it was hot, it was sticky, it was humid. And yet, you see all of this whole totally different world, what you see in the city. You know, you have a city, this modern city, and then you have this area where here is all these homeless people. And I'm like, we could do better than this.
Yeah.
You know, for those people across the border in Mexico, so I can understand what Marie was talking about in India. You know, the same thing.
And yet there were television dishes.
Yeah, there were television
and
dishes. Antennas.
And all this poverty.
Right.
And my point is, we were talking about energy and how people are being affected. Here in the deepest part of poverty in the world, in India, even there, people are controlled, or there's some kind of negative programming. Why? Because they've got televisions.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's one way for the powers that shouldn't be to reach and control people.
Right,
and so it's a good thing that we're in this time of change. And, you know, I've used this metaphor before over the years, but just like when a woman becomes pregnant, she conceives and becomes pregnant, she doesn't deliver a baby in a few weeks or a month. It takes 9 months.
Right.
Well, as a metaphor, this planet, as she's about to birth herself as a new world, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take some time, and however long it takes, it'll take. But there'll be a new world in time, and people will have an easier time. Things will flow a lot easier.
Well,
the energies will be easier once they settle.
Right, exactly. Yeah. The energies will be a lot easier, and people will be a lot more calmer and a lot more less fearful, less angry. You know, all of the emotions that's surfacing is part of the clearing out.
Right.
You know, if they reach into the depths of their heart, and they may think, "Oh, I'm cleared out," and all of a sudden something would trigger it, and even the deeper part of themselves that they're not aware of is coming up to surface. The purpose is to clean our hearts out, because we have been steeped into this for centuries.
Right.
So, as you have said, it's not going to happen overnight, and Mother Earth is going through her contractions.
Right.
Well, think about this. She's going through her contractions, so are we.
Right.
We are going through our own contractions.
And for a moment, to promote people like yourselves, like Marie Batchelor, like Shakina and others, who are helping people to awaken, who are helping people to recognize that some of the stuff we've been carrying around, a lot of it isn't ours. It's been programming.
That's right.
Programming needs to be removed, needs to be shut down, shut off, cleansed, cleaned,
that's right.
Transmuted, released.
That's right. All of that.
All of it has to happen.
For all of us. It's not just a few of it. It's all of us. That
right.
includes me, too.
Yeah, it is all of us. So.
It's all of it. So I'm just encouraging everyone to hang in there, because you're not alone. You're not alone in this. We're going to make it. We're going to make it. But give yourself a chance to get through this. I know many of you want to go home. I want to go home too. But we have a mission to do here. And we can do it together. Yeah. You know, that's what Midat Kriya Oyasin is all about. We're all related. We're all one.
Right. Yeah, well, very, very well said. So, Adona, as I mentioned to all of our listeners earlier, you've been doing the Star Ancestry work since November of 2016. Now it is August of 2018. You have helped clients in 52 countries, somewhere in excess of 1,000 people, which is an amazing ride and experience for you. For people that haven't heard of your work, can you share with them what you provide in terms of a basic report, a premium report, and then, of course, the last one is an Earth Mission report, and how they're different?
Okay, certainly. The basic report is mainly made up of one-page report talking about, okay, where I'm from, what star system, what planet, what dimension, your name on that planet, the description,
right? The name of the people,
the name of the people,
yep,
and the description of what they look like. How many years you have been here on the Earth,
right?
And I usually provide the star map with it, so that, say, for example, you're from Adona constellation, Merrick star system. I will provide that map, a picture, so that you can get the energies off of it and connect with it.
And that's a basic baseline one-page report.
One-page report.
And so, in comparison, the premium star ancestry report is much greater.
Much greater. Now, the premium report has to do with
all of those prior pieces of basic.
All of those prior pieces of the basic,
right?
And
plus, yep.
The premium has to do with your station. What is your position? Family, spouse, children. What does the spouse does for his or her position?
These are for in the other dimensions.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Right.
All right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the description of the planet, the names of the countries, what that country, what I wanted to call geographical, topical, environment that country has.
Like. Yeah, what it looks like.
What it looks like.
Okay, right.
And then I provide the pieces of research. You can even go into it if you like to. If you're an avid reader, you can get the research of the address of those particular topics of that particular constellation. And the last thing I provide is pictures, so that you can relate to those pictures. Say, for example, the planet has 2 moons. The planet has the Mediterranean atmosphere. I will find something that would be similar to that to give you an idea of what it looks like. I also provide pictures of your position. Say you're commander of your mothership, Adona.
Right. But I've also seen you describe people as architects or translators or teachers or keepers of records, healers. I mean, there are all sorts of different.
I even find pictures like the blue-skinned people. So you have an idea of white hair and purple eyes and blue skin, so you get that connections, and usually all of it put together, it comes up to around 30 pages.
Yeah, I've seen them. There is extensive detail.
Very extensive.
Yeah, a very expansive report.
Right.
Touching on all aspects. And then, matter of fact, I've also we were talking at one time about the fact that you're seeing, interestingly enough, people in the other dimensions and their parents. Like, one parent may come from the Pleiades constellation, another may come from the Andromeda galaxy. Where people of the same dimensional vibration coming from different areas of space.
Yeah, that too, I provide both of them, just in case, it gives them an idea of the Pleiadian people and the Andromedan people. Now, I've had some people ask me, well, say, for example, Australian people to the 9th dimension, the Pleiadian people, let's say, from our world, the Dakota, is 6th dimension. Well, how do they meet up? It doesn't matter, because in the higher dimensional world, it's adjustable. They can be together on the same dimension. This is new information that I've received not too long ago that it does happen, that they can be in the same dimension.
So the spiritual realms are more mutable, more flexible.
Correct.
Because it's all spirit energy.
Correct.
Right. And this is, of course, this is all organic.
Correct.
Right. Got it.
Correct. That's how it happens.
Okay.
So that's what it consisted of, and I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you.
Yeah.
The Earth mission basically has to do with what you're doing here on Earth, where you're heading. Usually the information is usually about 2 pages, because Azar, whom I'm connected with, the chief medical officer, has the soul essence records. She's in charge of the soul essence records, and she will pull up that person's soul essence and would tell me the positive changes that will come in people's lives for the future. What if they choose to? It's up to the people. They could say yes or no. But according to the soul essence records, it shows, well, this person, for example, I'm going to be a healer, and I'm going to develop a center, and I'm going to bring in all of these people. That's his or her mission for the earth. And I've had feedbacks from people who've had earth missions, which like amazing, right on, just what they were thinking about doing, but they're not absolutely sure if that's the direction where they're supposed to go. And
so then they receive an Earth mission report from you, and it's like, aha, confirmation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. They were just blown away by it, and I'm just very thankful that as close connection I have with Azar, we make a pretty good team.
Yeah, you keep her pretty busy. I mean, she's busy, she's busy enough, but yeah.
I can say likewise for me too.
Yeah.
They keep me pretty busy as well.
Yeah. So here we are. We're in the early part of August of 2018. You're surprise yourself. For you, you were relocating back to Texas to be closer to family. Do you see yourself also getting busier again with star ancestry reports? Is that on the horizon again?
Yes, but I'm evolving as well, because my star people told me that I'm needed back in Texas, not only for my Earth family, but also they needed my help to awaken people there.
Ah.
So they told me that I will eventually have a center of some kind to bring everybody together, not just one specific thing, but overall picture. I don't know when that's going to take place, but I know it's coming in the future.
Right. And so for the people that don't know this, she will be moving back to the greater Houston area.
Yes.
And we've discussed what will likely be your first event, which will be the Star Ancestry Knowledge Gathering, and sometime in 2019, and that will be quite a conference, I am sure.
I am sure that's going to be a very interesting conference because, being born and raised in Texas, I don't hear very much of conferences. I have heard a lot of MUFON seminars of that type over the years, but not a gathering of people. So those of you who are initially in, that are from Texas, especially in that area, I would be happy to help you develop some kind of gathering. And of course my friend Tolec and other people who are part of this will be involved too as well in the near future.
Right. And for those of you who are either past, present, or maybe want to be future Star Ancestry clients, the United States is a pretty busy place, and we welcome you from around the world. If you'd like to meet Adona and some of the other people that will be speaking at this Star Ancestry Knowledge Gathering, I'm sure it's going to be an amazing experience. And we'll continue to work on this concept, and when we get a date firmed up, we'll let everybody know.
Absolutely, I'm all for it. Let's gung ho.
So Adona, my sister from planet Dakota, thank you for joining me. This has been very interesting and insightful. It's been good to hear about your early summer experiences. I'm sorry to hear about the passing of your dad, but he sounds like he and Mom are doing okay. They're back together again, and that's a good thing.
Well, my brother Tolec, it's been delightful. It's been a while since we have had this type of interview.
Yes.
And it's kind of funny. It's like I told you earlier today, it's like getting back on the bike. It was pretty easy.
An easy ride.
Ride here. For those of you who have emailed me this summer of your condolences, I am very moved, and I thank you for thinking of me and the passing of my father. I appreciate your emails very much. Blessings to all of you that are thinking of this time period in my life and the changes that's coming to be. So I want to end this with my own words of keep your heart open. You will always have the help you need from Spirit. You will always have the loving people, your star family around you. You will never be alone in this time of transition, transformation of the earth, of this planet. I will do all I can to help you and evolve in a way that you would like to evolve into. Midak Kuye Oyasin. We are all related. We are one. Thank you for listening in.
Adona, thank you for those very kind words. In closing, for any of you listening that might be interested in contacting Adona regarding her Star Ancestry services, to learn what she does and how she does it, you can go to the website starancestry.com, and you can reach her via email at star_ancestry@hotmail.com. So for Tolec and Adona of the Andromeda Council and Star Ancestry, have a wonderful weekend and a very smooth sailing, beautiful rest of the summer. Take care.